your official home for Beavers sports. On the campus of Bemidji State University, this is The Huddle with Zach Lunt and Dan Amundsen. The Huddle starts now.
Welcome to Huddle. I'm your host, Zachary Lunt. Co-host over here, Dan Amundsen.
How's it going this week?
Pretty good.
Good.
How about you?
Not too bad. Can't complain.
All right. Well, soccer team over the weekend, they won against Upper Iowa 2-1, and they won against Winona State 1-0. And they travel, or they remain undefeated, I should say, in the NSIC play. They traveled to Sioux Falls and also Southwest
Minnesota State.
Yep. That's how you say it. It's a really tongue-twisting name for a school. But that's the next two games up here, upcoming close here. Do you think that the soccer team will remain undefeated though?
Yeah, throughout the weekend.
Yep.
Well, throughout the weekend, I think they'll win these two games. Neither Sioux Falls nor SMSU are too tough. SMSU is an okay team. Sioux Falls isn't too strong, and if Bemidji keeps playing the way they have been, they'll be in good shape to take care of these two games. Now, staying undefeated throughout the conference out the whole year, that's going to be a different story. I don't think that's going to happen. They've got. I was looking at the standings today. They've got tougher teams like Concordia, who's been undefeated, and I think it's Augustana who's also in front of them right now. Bemidji sits third in the conference. So they're going to have to take down some tougher opponents like that who they haven't seen yet. And so that's where I think we might run into our issues. We haven't really been tested. I mean, we've played some good teams. We played the number 1 and number 3 team in the nation and lost both of those. One was in overtime. So we've been tested and didn't quite live up to it, but have we been tested in our own conference yet? No. That's where I think we could run into our own problems, but I think they can also, at the same time, they can be prepared enough to come in and take care of business against teams like that. So I don't think they're going to win every game in their conference, but I think they have a shot to do it. It's definitely not out of the picture.
Do you think they'll be number 1 in the conference though?
If they keep playing like they have been right now, yeah, they will. But like I said, they haven't really been tested, and so it would. Once we actually get some better conference teams on the schedule and get those games under their belt, then we'll have a better say. But if they keep playing the way they have right now, you can't argue with the numbers. They're undefeated. If they keep playing like it, they'll be undefeated. Yeah, numbers don't lie.
For sure. All right, well, let's get into the women's hockey here. Women's hockey played over the weekend their exhibition game against Regina. They won 5-1. And they also played a little 3-on-3 exhibition over
the overtime.
Which I guess they're just trying to get the legs loosened up maybe
Nothing really happened in those 5 minutes.
Right. What can we take away from the game though, if anything?
Well, I've never quite fully understood college hockey in Canada. They do it a little differently. There's a couple different things. College hockey is different than university hockey in Canada. It's kind of weird, and so we were talking about it a little bit. I was talking to it at Sanford Center with a few people, and it's, Canada's the big hockey country, right? But you see a lot of Canadians come down to the United States to play at colleges. So how strong are these Canadian colleges actually? And it's kind of hard to say. I don't know. The University of Regina came down and played Minot State and beat them, but they're not at the same level as Bemidji. And then after they played Bemidji, they went down and played St. Cloud and lost 3-0. And we were actually talking to the bus driver who drove them all the way down, which props to them for driving all the way from Saskatchewan. I've done that drive. It's not fun. Unless it depends what you're doing there, but it's not fun along the way. We were talking to him, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, this team thought they were just going to come in and kick Bemidji's butt, and Bemidji turned it right around and handed it back to him and beat him 5-1. So do they come in a little cocky and that hurt them? Maybe, but maybe." It's hard to judge based on exhibition play and a team I don't know anything about, but it's good to see a 5-1. That's a huge win. Big score-wise, that's a huge win. So it's hard to judge, but they did their job.
Well, the women's hockey team does play against Lindenwood this weekend. What can we take away for this upcoming game? Is there anything that we need to watch out for, or?
Well, I'll just be interested to see what lineup is, what they decide to go with, who's in net, who's starting where, and what new faces we have. And I think they'll be able to take care of business against Lindenwood if they play like they did at the end of last year. Lindenwood wasn't too strong of a team the last 2 seasons. I think they'll be able to come in and take at least one game, which would be a better start than what they had last year. And I'd expect a fairly decent season from them this year. They showed they had potential last year. They just started real slow. So if they're able to pick up where they left off, I think we're in for at least a competitive season this year.
For the women's hockey team?
Yep.
So you think the women's team will make playoffs, or how do you think about that one?
Well,
early to tell, I guess?
it's a little too early. I mean, it always is. You can make your prediction, but who knows? I'd like their odds, to be honest. I liked the way they ended last season, so assuming they can just pick up off that pace, which isn't always easy when you take however many months off, but if they realize what they can do, if they start with a good pace, I like where they're going.
All right. Well, let's get into some football here. The Beavers over the weekend, they lost 42-7. Pretty bad loss over Duluth.
Yeah.
It kind of fell apart after the third quarter, really.
Yeah.
What can we take away from this game?
Well, there's a number of things. One thing, so 42-7, that score looks way worse than the defense played.
Yep.
Okay, the defense let up 3 touchdowns. So you all of a sudden 21-7, not as bad, but we had a block punt go back for a touchdown. We had an interception go back for a touchdown.
Yep.
So defense did a decent job against a pretty good team. That's something I think that got overlooked. Now, our offense was atrocious. And granted, Brandon Alt was on crutches, we saw on the sideline. Actually had a penalty at halftime, which is something, if you're on crutches and not playing the game, you should not be getting a penalty. But then Henning left with injury, and it sounded like at the end of the game, I don't even know who was playing quarterback. We couldn't hear the broadcast where we were sitting. We could just watch numbers. Whoever came in to play quarterback, it sounds like, went down, so we don't know who's playing quarterback this weekend.
Actually, I was told that from somebody that they'll have a third string quarterback.
Okay.
That third string that was playing last game.
He'll be there?
Yeah.
All right. So, well, he didn't look good this week on Saturday in the little bit he played. They couldn't throw the ball. Jalen Fry ran for over 100 yards again, so that's a positive takeaway. But that quarterback situation's iffy, and everyone knows in football you need a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And so it got real ugly, which was a bummer because it was a good game for the first half. They were hung in it. It was 7-7 at halftime, and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off the bus, and it got ugly real fast.
Interceptions started coming like crazy. I think they had 3 interceptions just in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, they had 5 turnovers total.
Yeah.
They had over 100 yards of penalties again. Now, both teams had that. Duluth had more penalties than us, actually, but it turned into just a sloppy football game. And if they do that this weekend, it's not going to be a fun homecoming.
All right. Well, so we play against Augustana this weekend for homecoming.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on this upcoming game for homecoming? Is this kind of a hard matchup for us?
It is. Augustana is a tough team, 3-1, just like us. And like I said, we don't know what's going on with half of our team, it seems, you know. If they play like they did the second half last week, it's going to be a long game. But at the same time, if that defense does its job, if we can get the run game going, maybe we can scratch something out, keep it close. But if I had to predict something right now, I would say we're going to lose our homecoming game, which isn't a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's not ever something you really want to do because we have the fun tradition of jumping in the lake if they win. I don't think that's going to happen this week. I hope they surprise me. And now, granted, how many times have you actually seen a homecoming team lost? You know, it seems whenever a team plays their homecoming, they always win.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think last year they came back on their homecoming game to win because it was actually they're down by didn't they play Augustana?
They played Sioux Falls. They were down by 20 points, and everyone left
back
at halftime. Or I left at halftime
Right.
and watched the game from my dorm, and all of a sudden peeked out the window and watched them jump in the lake. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess missed a good game. So who knows? Miracles happen.
Yeah.
The team surprised us on homecoming and senior nights and whatever. There's a reason they still play the game. You know,
Right.
as they say, if it was just a matchup on paper, they wouldn't have a reason to play it. So.
Exactly.
We'll see what happens.
Well, that's all we got for you guys this week. We'll see you guys next week.
My foot was falling asleep.